be chastised for that.
Yeah. You know, let me tell you a quick story about a guy. See, there's this VTuber who's very famous for being a little toxic shit who throws her fucking controller around, and people think it's cute, and I'm like, that's not cute. Like, if it wasn't a VTuber doing that, you'd say that this person was a useless, toxic piece of shit. Like, does the fact that it's a cute girl 3D animated on the screen somehow make this behavior more acceptable? It wasn't acceptable 30 years ago. You listen, you little Zoomer brats at home. When you break an SNES controller, let me tell you something. They weren't built like these modern controllers that are like $70 and ultra thick. An SNES controller you break by hitting it really hard. All right? You break a Game Boy when you shake it too much. And back in my day, and we had to go uphill both ways. Look, Spoon.
All right, you geriatric millennial.
Look, Pondo, were you happy with your effeminate bard?
Yeah,
Effeminate
I couldn't really say
bard?
much because it's just their style. I also told them that they, had like Greek face, like a face like a Greek statue, which
I feel like they did a pretty good job of
I
that.
thought good with that, yeah. I thought they had that sort of classic.
You got kind of like a Dionysian
So,
thing going on there. You look like Hermes with short hair.
So they got. I guess I saw it differently in my head, but I can see that they got the aesthetic that I was going for.
Yeah, you look like a Greek fuckboy.
Yeah.
You show up and you're just like, oh, hey guys. Did you hear? I'm a big shot noble. I was in the war. Oh man, my armor is.
You happy with your effeminate half orc?
Yeah, well, you mean my Eric Vulgaris,
effeminate. It's Eric Vulgaris. It's not effeminate. It's manly. You can tell because it's got a man bun. Yeah, I know.
I know what I said.
I said it to Eric and he went, effeminate. Oh, James. What are you gonna say to Henley? You happy with your effeminate lizard folk?
No. Look, hey, Henley's one was exactly what was described, I think.
Okay. Are you happy with your effeminate female half-elf, James? She's very female half-elf looking.
I actually talked to her about more commissioning work and stuff like that, and I do tend to think that she leans more towards drawing female characters than male characters.
I agree. For sure.
But when it comes to non-human characters, it seems it doesn't fucking matter. Like, she nailed it perfectly.
Yeah, I think she did a great job.
Yeah.
These haters out here.
So I should say non-humanoid characters.
I didn't realize that I was describing Eric Vulgaris until I saw the art and went, and you guys said, "Oh, it's Eric Vulgaris the half orc." I went, "Oh, I guess I kind of am."
I sent Eric that message. I was like, "Hey, Big Spoon made you as a character."
Right. Is the term metrosexual pejorative?
No one knows anymore. Look, metrosexual is an American term that rose out of this period of time where conditioning your hair was considered gay.
Okay. Well,
I thought it came about because of the queer eye for the straight guy, but
no, metrosexual was a way of saying a man took care of himself without being gay. It's fucking, like, in retrospect, it's the weirdest fucking shit in the world.
Yeah, it says here, a heterosexual urban man who enjoys shopping, fashion, similar interests, traditionally associated with women or gay men. And I've not had much to do with it, but that's generally in my head space where I associate Eric Vulgaris.
As a metrosexual?
Yeah.
No, Eric is definitely more hipster than metrosexual.
Yeah, I suppose. Maybe it's because my 20s were spent in the 90s that I associate that term more.
I gotta tell you, in another world where technology didn't exist, Eric Vulgaris would live on a commune as a lumberjack, making his homebrewed kombucha.
For sure.
It's bad.
Look, we're laughing, but none of this is an insult. It's just who he is.
Like,
it's just what I'm saying. It's bad because I can see it.
So are we still in the break, or are we?
No, we haven't for a while.
Oh, okay.
We have been since the end of the Fortnite discussion.
No, so he posted some on Twitter some photos of the good work he was doing in his garden over in Ireland. And I was like, Yeah, that makes sense. Eric would definitely have a garden if he had space.
All right, so here we are solving a mystery and rewrite history. DuckTales! Ooh! Got him. I always get him.
Yeah, so got.
Yeah.
Come on, Dave! You like DuckTales, don't you?
It was ruined for me when I was a streamer, big time.
I don't know what that means, but I'm afraid
So
to
basically,
ask. No,
they
don't! Please don't ruin DuckTales for me!
No. There used to be a thing where it was like you would, for the longest time, you would do like, you know, song, like people would like put music onto your
song
playlist
requests,
or whatever, right?
I never did that because it was annoying.
People used to troll that stuff, and one of the biggest trolling songs was like to the tune of the DuckTales song. So
what I'm most disturbed by is the fact that when I put in a Google search for Queen Lacrima to get you the picture in Roll20, that after the official art, like the next 15 pictures are all Queen Lacrima cosplays.
I didn't realize this character was so popular.
Yeah, wow.
Anyway.
Now you've killed her, James.
Maybe
killed her
we
with
should,
a sword.
Yeah, maybe we should care about this investigation a little bit more.
Yeah, guy eating at the fucking cafeteria. All he heard was, ooh, it's an official assassin. And suddenly he's like, there couldn't possibly be heresy or factional
I love the
infighting
idea
here.
too, by the way, that like I'm at the cafeteria, even though I told you guys that I was going to go meditate, right? And you walk in and I'm
Like
just
you
like
and Adrian
pretending
sit down.
not to notice it. Like,
It's the Umbrella Academy meme that just the two cars passing.
So I'm going to give you a choice here, Nero. Would you like to roll logic and have Ivy roll logic, or would you just rather that she just rolls with a bonus for your contributing?
Oh,
I want
James,
to
I have
try
a 15 in logic. I would rather give her a bonus.
Okay, all right.
You don't get that lucky twice, okay?
Okay, no worries. So,
all right, she performs basic math.
So there are some limiting factors. Although you have the exact trajectory through the thing, you're not sure whether the penetration through the glass and the disposal of the Sabo change trajectory. But you've narrowed it down to like, I mean, and the way she comes is like she's like, this is the answer, plus or minus a value as such as to where it is. Like the shot definitely came from here, plus or minus 100 meters sort of thing.
100 meters. That's not that close. I think
it was 6 kilometers away. The round, you're not familiar with
100 meters. That's an enormous failure rate for 6 kilometers.
But it does appear to have come along from somewhere along the dorsal spine of the ship, and more than likely the fire was external when they fired rather than internal, based upon the fact that if they fired it from somewhere internally, there'd be some sort of penetration, or it would have impacted the trajectory from having to go through the atmosphere for that period.
All right, let's go investigate while another scene happens.
All right,
Star
she does
Wars
say to
light.
you though. Okay, she does say to you though. Just let me just ask you though, Nero. We're talking about a master assassin trained from birth in infiltration, and presumably, if they've killed their target, they will intend to just drift back into the scenes and make their way off somewhere else, back to where they're ordered from.
Sure.
What are you hoping to find? I mean, okay, think of this. You're a master marksman, right? You've been teaching yourself stealth. Where would you hide? If you've completed your mission, you just want to stay out of trouble till you get off the ship, somewhere useful. Where would you go?
All right, so Nero is going to start preparing the golf cart for transit. Like getting it turned on and like making sure that everything's working. And in the process, he's not going to look at Ivy and he's going to say, the most dangerous time for an assassin is the moment after they've shot. They've revealed their position, they've revealed their intention, they've been successful, and now they're basking in the glory of success. And they need to return to the herd to escape notice. And that's the person I'm looking for right now, Ivy, is someone who is attempting to blend in but feels success. Someone who will bask in the satisfaction of a job well done, because that was a pretty good shot. I mean, that guy definitely did not, that man, woman, or creature that made that shot did not do the math with the plus minus of 100 meters over 6 kilometers. They hit that thing dead on. So we're looking for someone who disturbed the bush and is trying to blend back into the forest. But my intention here is to disturb the bush with a giant stick, look for the turkey, and then interrogate the turkey for a while, using the kind of techniques that only an Inquisition agent, sorry, an Inquisitor can teach.
Okay, well, you've got my support as much as I can offer, anyway.
Well, see, here's the thing, Ivy. I don't have your support, and that's fine. You work for the Mechanicus, and obviously for the Lord Captain through them. I owe the Queen my loyalty. I am one of her feudal subjects, and I think I might be the only one on this ship. Someone has to look out for this murder, even if Adrian is eating a sandwich in the fucking cafeteria and it enrages me. And there's only one person on this ship I can rely on, Ivy. And as I say that, I pick Horatio up and put him on my shoulder as I kick the thing into second gear. I double clutch myself up to second gear while I rev the engine. Let's go, Ivy.
If only golf carts could stall out. Oops. Back into gear again. Okay.
I'm not here to granny shift, okay? I learned to drive stick by watching
That's right.
Fast and the Fury.
All right. Pierre. So Miriam comes in to see you. Thank you for your time, Lord Commodore. I've been chatting with Riani. She came to see me after the transit here. I think that she had faith in Thorne previously, but nothing like what she's experienced now. The way she described it was like Thorne was carried on wings of light. All things I've heard before when people talk about living saints. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what Dawn is. I don't know whether you agree, but that's my feeling based upon what she's done and what we've seen here. And that in itself is, while a miracle, also a great boon for us, because if we can have her recognized by the Ecclesiarch as that, then the access to resources that you will receive, that this endeavor will receive, it's things that you couldn't dream of right now. But my belief and your belief isn't enough to convince the Ecclesiarch, I don't believe. I think that there are two elements of every single living saint that Dawn still needs to do, and one of them we can help her with, which is why I wanted to talk to you.
Makeover.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there is no living saint that has been recognized that has not been martyred, and that we can't.
That's the one.
That may happen in its own time, but that aside, all living saints have at some point made a pilgrimage to the resting place of another saint. That they've usually received some sort of guidance from the God Emperor as to what their actual purpose is. Saint Celestine, Saint Ophelia, they all experienced visions from the God Emperor at the resting place of their forebears. In the Calixis sector, when the Ecclesiarch believes we may be dealing with an imperial saint, they usually take them to Sentinel, to the tomb of St. Drusus. But you and I have already spoken about the connotations there, why I don't think that would be right for Dawn. There is a hidden, well, on the planet Piety of Seth, there is a shrine to Saint Helena, and it is kept quite privately within the sororitas that Saint Helena herself is interred in that shrine. Imperial records show her as having been interred on Acheron 4 several hundred years ago, but her remains were transported to the Calixis sector. I would like you, if you can, to find it in your time to take Dawn to Piety of Seth so that she could commune with her forebears and the God Emperor in that holy place. And you're on mute, Lord Commodore. You're still on mute, Lord Commodore.
Sorry, I was looking up the map of Calixis sectors while I was saying.
It's down here, Piety of Seth.
Okay. So it'd be a little bit out of the way after stopping by that one repair port, wouldn't it?
Trench.
From yeah.
They're in the same
they're
in the same subsector.
Yeah. I'll consider it. Considering I could understand that this would be a very big boon. It's something that I'd like to speak with Dawn to see if she might have some interest in it. Because I may want her to have this. I don't know if she does. Whether she wants to be one that is known or one that is behind the scenes until she immediately meets her good death.
I feel like Dawn doesn't work to a specific purpose, but follows her own instincts and waits for purpose to present itself. I think that this might be what is required to give her that purpose, but you're right, it's up to her. Not like we could, if this was forced, it wouldn't work.
We can speak with Dawn with it later.
Okay.
Once we're out of this mess first.
In any case, Brianna also asked me to pass on that she feels confident that she could find the Astronomicon again now from here if necessary.
Oh, that's good.
We're no longer trapped.
But the warp storm's still here, obviously.
Well, the warp storm prevents the astropath from seeing the Astronomicon, which affects the ship's navigation. She says she can find the Astronomicon. I mean, she is a better navigator than most, but other skilled navigators should presumably also be able to find it.
Fair enough. All right.
I heard about what happened with the Queen. Was that you?
No. No, that's it's a little hard to explain what happened considering the unbelievable nature of what happened. We believe it was the work of a Vindicar assassin.
She definitely has a wah face.
Somehow he's managed to take a shot 6 kilometers away in space at a moving ship and managed to shoot through a window, through the Queen, and then out.
This must be the work of Lord Sector Hax.
Who?
Manius Hax, the Lord Sector of the Calixis sector. I've never heard the Inquisition have an issue with Lady Lackmira directly, or Queen Lackmira, but she was certainly in a power struggle with the Lords of Scintilla and Malfi. and Hax is the only one with the authority to command a Vindicare outside of the Inquisition, unless this was something driven by terror. Are you absolutely sure that this was a member of the Assassinorum that did this?
I can show you what it looks like, and from what I've gathered from other people, yes. From the ship, 6 kilometers away in space, through the window, through the Queen, and back out.
Well, I don't know that there's anything further that I can offer you in this respect. This is completely outside my area of knowledge.
And this is, say the name one more time again, Lord Hex.
Hax, Lord Sector Marnius Hax.
Lord Sector Marnius Hax. Okay.
HX. You've met him before.
I've met him before?
Yes. Yeah. It's season 1.
Oh, jeez. So long ago. Oh, where did I meet him at? Did I meet him
on Scintilla? On Scintilla, no. He is the highest ranking person in the Calixis sector. He governs Scintilla and governs the entire Calixis sector.
That had to have been like episode 1 or 2.
It was pretty early on.
Yeah, because that's the only time I think we were in Scintillas.
Yeah, he's freakishly tall and langy. Like a non-mutant version of Riani.
Yeah. We met him in season 2, episode 3.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Still feels like an age away. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to take a pit stop at Scintillas anyway. Oh, yeah, I can see. Talk to him, maybe. I don't know. This is give me a lot to think about now. I want to leave. Is there anything else you needed?
No, that was it.
Okay.
With that being said, you might want to give some thought now as to, obviously, Nero's daughter is now the queen in waiting of this world. Others will attempt to control her. And she's still an infant right now, but that won't last forever. You may have a unique opportunity here, Lord Captain, to use your relationship with Nero to gain some influence here on what is arguably the most important world to trade in this entire sector.
Indeed. I'm going to make sure that she's well taken care of and then give her the best education I can give her.
While I wouldn't recommend bringing her with you, maybe sending her somewhere else that you can guarantee her safety.
Indeed. I'll have to figure out where that is, though.
You should probably also talk to Nero about it.
Indeed.
He's probably the only person that I know of that actually cares about the girl.
That's a really sad thing to consider. But I can understand. Question, Miriam, would you want to be with the girl and for whenever I find a place for her, just stay safely?
I would want nothing more, but I don't think that's a good idea now.
Why is that?
Trouble follows me more than I would like.
I don't know. I don't know if I can consider it at the moment because the only times that I've seen trouble is when I'm here, and I've seen it without you here. So, because it also feels like trouble finds me no matter where I go. But I'll take your word for it.
So, a long time ago, I reconciled with the fact that I was never going to have back the part of me that was taken, because that was obviously necessary and a decision of better people at the time. But the more time I spent with this group, the more I feel that I want to know what that's about, even though that is in itself a crime. And I know that my options are to either avoid this group forever and live in ignorance, or follow you and potentially discover a terrible truth. I just can't live with the lies anymore.
I can fully understand that. And I fully, well, maybe not to your degree, but I can relate.
I've said enough. I should go.
Yep, I'm going to. We do the thing where we both go the same direction.
In the same direction, yeah. Every time. Spoon, do we need an eating montage with you at all, or?
It's got that void braised eel.
Yeah, void braised eel. No, I don't think so. I think I'm good.
So, Dawn.
Yes.
When you meditate, so you don't get sort of sudden inspiration for the God Emperor as such. Like, you still feel that you feel like you're on a path right now that you've set a foot on, and now that path is like before you. So you're not being led. You just feel that you are still going in the right direction. The one thing you sort of do experience with this is that you've obviously had that connection that you've shared when you've been in the Koronus Expanse with this Talon Balewing. And even though you've never spoken outside of the Expanse, you were always sort of aware of this. So you were always unaware of this sort of still latent connection that you have that you never realized was there until you only just recently, like in the last couple of days or since arriving here, have felt it not there anymore. Like you notice its absence more than you notice its presence when it was there. So for some reason, you just feel like you're disconnected from that individual.
Okay. I mean, that might be a good thing depending on how you look at things, right? So
yeah, certain point of view.
Yeah, I mean, at least the one that the God Emperor favors, right?
Yeah.
So.
When you emerge from your chambers after meditating a bit, dozens of the crew have left little sort of votive shrines near the door to your chambers. It seems that word of how the ship came to be here has spread, and people have come and left offerings, to you as a representative of the God Emperor, even more so than you were previously.
So you're going to have to fill me in here on like the sort of general consensus within the ecclesiarchy about how this sort of stuff goes down. What generally are people told to expect about, like hypothetically, what is the sort of educated stance that sisters normally get for, what to do when people revere you, right? Or when people like see you as more than just like a person that spreads the word. Like is there anything in the teachings that sort of educate you a bit like that?
So I do feel like modesty is still a virtue of the ecclesiarchy, or at least it's the expected virtue as such. So I think even when an individual has been recognized as a living saint, they will have sort of, I guess, the people are going to be coming up to them all the time wanting to kiss the hem of their robe, or receive their benediction or blessing. And in a lot of cases that they may not feel worthy of such adoration, but by the same time, when they sort of raise their banner to lead forces in battle, they are fully emboldened by the spirit of the God Emperor behind them. So I'd say in these cases, I would not think it unusual for Dawn to probably feel a bit uncomfortable about this level of devotion, but also understand where it's coming from. And realizing that it's not about her, it's about the God Emperor, and she's just a very, very permanent and visible component of these people's connection to the Emperor at the moment. So it wouldn't be something that she'd be encouraged to discourage, but by the same token, it wouldn't be something that she should take personal pride in.
Because my first thought was to remove all of it. But that doesn't sound like how it would be taught to Dawn. At least.
I mean, I can certainly see a scene where like Dawn's first reaction is to go and start removing things, and then like having picked up the first few things, realized, well, shit. I mean, this is what they've done here is not bad or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that it's not what I'm used to, and I feel uncomfortable with it. But I'm trampling on their faith by moving these things.
Yeah,
and probably I putting them back, but still feel uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, I imagine it's a little case of like she's like picking them up frantically before anyone else sort of sees the nonsense or whatever. At least the initial onset of it. But as she starts to like inspect the items or whatever or the offerings that were left behind, maybe she definitely probably thinks twice about them and puts them back as they were. And just sort of like, for the most part, like ignores them, I guess, right? As long as it doesn't like impede her like access to her own room, I don't think it'll become a problem. So she just, ignores them for the time being. Yeah. Because ultimately it's not for her, right? It's she's like the closest they're going to get to the God Emperor, right? Like roughly, at least in her mindset. Like, yeah.
So a general sort of question goes around the ship, mainly towards Pierre, but others may want to chip in too, that it does appear that the warp storm has abated enough that the astronomical can be seen. That may not be a permanent situation. So it may be something where you need to decide whether you're going to stay here much longer or if you're going to go, and if you're going to go, where you're going to go.
If things seem to be calming down relatively on the planet.
Well, no one on the planet yet knows the Queen has died.
Okay. I think Pierre knows it's not his place to tell them that the Queen has died. He's going to have a message go out to. They have a message go out to the Lord Sector Governor Hax.
Marnius Hax.
Hax, yeah. Saying that the Queen has been assassinated. There needs to be some sort of a question. Does this planet have like bylaws saying if the Queen and/or King gets killed or something, is there someone there to take temporary governorship of the planet?
So it would probably be the other lords would all probably vote on. But that being said, the planet might have its own rules, but Hax could certainly override them as a sector governor.
Right.
I've got something for you, Pondo.
What have you got?
Let's have a meeting.
Okay. We'll have a meeting then.
Nero is gonna arrive via golf cart, of course. No Ivy. No Horatio, despite me wanting him to be in the scene a lot. In full dress uniform. And say, Lord Commodore.
Yes.
I think the time has come for me to leave your service. Someone has to protect the Duchess, who is now the Queen. I have sworn an oath.
Are you certain this is what you want?
I'm sure someone ruggedly handsome, charming, significantly less good at shooting people will show up to replace me. You have thousands of people who work for you, Lord Commodore. But this girl only has me. I don't know what is happening here. I don't know who tried to kill my queen. And I don't know what's going to happen on the planet. But someone who is not me will take charge. Someone who is probably me will need to make sure that the Duchess's education and line is carried on, and that her commands are respected and even feared.
Because the one plan was to find a place where the Duchess would be safe. I do agree that you being with the Duchess is probably the next safest thing.
That's
Though
true.
I
I will kill everyone on the planet to protect her.
Though I don't think this is the planet that you'd want to be in.
It is our planet.
Okay. And I think we should have a meeting with the other lords of the planet to discuss what is happening.
We could certainly do that, sir.
Okay.
Are the rest of us present for this, or is this
No, it's just the two of us. I will call. Listen, I don't know what pomp and circumstances necessary to call forth the Council of Nobles, but as their newest member, I will invoke whatever ancient rituals with as little regard for them as possible.
Okay.
Get your fucking asses on the Vox. You crusty old pieces of shit.
The Pierre's just like, I just got him that glass cannon that he pestered me about.
Yeah, it's going to be used to kill so many traitors.
So by the laws of Severus Secundus, it will take place in the palace on the planet, and they do have they have 48 hours basically to prepare and present themselves for this. What are the Norse call a thing? It's a thing.
It's the Icelandic thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I don't know if you want to wait 48 hours. I think you know as well as I, this warp storm could roll over at any time.
Well, Nero, if this is what you want, then
it was an honor to serve the Cowles legacy, sir. I hope that at some point you get married and, have a kid and make your mother proud. No, you've already made her proud, but I'm sure she'd like grandchildren.
I'm still working on that, but thank you.
I did what I could, sir, multiple times. At great embarrassment to several people who are not me.
You've killed many a people under my...
It's true. I kept the kill count, sir.
I don't know if you've physically taken bullets for me. Well, no.
Yes, I think I did at least once.
You did at least once with that explosion. Back on...
I would do it again.
Before. Yeah.
You know that I would.
And you are definitely the best person to have watching your daughter. I will be sure to leave you with plenty of bullets.
I appreciate that, sir. I'm sure I will use all of them.
I know.
So presumably at some point where you're working this out, once word of this gets out, you do get like a communication, Pierre, from Miriam saying, if Nero takes her back to the planet to stay there, 100% she's getting assassinated in the next few years by some upstart noble looking to improve their own power base.
They would have to get through Nero first.
Nero has to sleep sometime, and his vengeance may be epic, but the queen will still be dead.
That whole plan assumes that there are any upstart nobles left alive in a few years.
Yeah. That's true. You can just lead a total purge. They all split up in 2 days at the palace, and the palace suddenly is hit by a land strike.
I mean, he might make example of like all the other nobles, like, step up, I dare you, try me.
Listen, what Nero doesn't have in cleverness, he makes up for in absolute ruthlessness and brutality. Paranoia.
I have full confidence that Nero will keep his daughter safe. If this is what Nero wants, then I'll let him have it. That's the least I can let him do.
She won't reply to that. That's fine. She said her piece.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Is that Miriam trying to, at the last second, divert a plan to allow her to get access to the child? Of course.
So, how quickly does this get out to the other members of the crew?
I mean, Nero isn't even telling him, but he's just grabbing the thrice locked chest of Nero the Blade, getting on a shuttle.
Within 10 minutes, people are saying, "Why is Nero working around in full dress uniform?" Yeah, that's probably the extent of the scuttlebutt.
Here's the other thing: is to get a shuttle, you have to go through me.
You're a pilot. You're not the shuttle master.
I think we've established that I control the hangar bay, basically.
Well, he's not flying the ship. He's there. He's like,
all right, I guess.
At a bare minimum, he'd get like a report of all comings and goings. Yeah, and have a report that Nero's taking a shuttle to the planet.
Look, Adrian, let me set the scene for you.
Better yet, you could have your girlfriend tell you. That's there.
It's Nero.
Actually, no. Let me set the scene for you.
Okay, fine.
So I think it's Adrian at like the base of the like walkway up into Lucky 13's ramp, like into the interior, and he's in like his standard what he wears when which is his actual light power or his power armor when he flies the shuttle. But he's like, as you approach him, says, "I don't think you understand what you're doing here, Nero. You think you're protecting this girl. All you're really doing is tying her fate to yours. Our crew here has been marked. We have been chosen. If you go with this girl, you will both die."
So Nero has the original suit of armor he came to the crew with, and a heavy bolter and Horatio, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's left everything that he gained on the crew behind, with the exception of the weapon mount. There's nothing in it, but it's not like you could just remove the cybernetics off of his body.
Well, you can put your hell gun there, essentially.
That's true. Listen, it's like books, right? I gave that to Kate. It's his now, right? You don't just borrow hell guns, all right?
Yeah.
And he says, "That is a way to see it, Adrian. But I have a responsibility. I may be marked, but I think there's a possibility that this entire situation was caused by my actions. I think you already know that something out there believes that this warp storm was caused by me."
Perhaps.
If there is any one member of this crew that would be fine on their own, should fate come knocking, I would think it was Dawn and then me, and I only say Dawn because she can bring people back to life.
Well, just know that your decision here ties the fate of this girl to yours, and your fate is death.
The fate of all of us are death. There are none who escape death save God.
Yours. You know yours is coming sooner rather than later.
I don't know that, Adrian.
All of ours are.
I have escaped death dozens of times.
Because you were here with us, with Dawn.
I escaped death long before I joined this crew.
Because you were fated to be here with us, with Dawn.
That is the way you see it.
That is the way it is. That is the way the God Emperor wills it.
I look over at the Scourger and the sister looking over the child, and I say, the God Emperor caused this to happen as well. The child must be protected. No. I don't know if I can do Who's the guy who did the evil German dude from Mandalorian?
Werner Herzog.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
The child must be protected, Adrian.
What about save the cheerleader, save the world? Let's go with that one. That's a good one.
For a long time, Adrian, I was a bounty hunter, and as you know, bounty hunting is a
complicated profession.
I don't expect attempting to wrangle the nobles on this planet and protect a young child will be any less difficult, but I've already proven that I am equal to the task. And I have also proven that I may not be able to figure out the mysteries around me, but I am paranoid enough to bring extreme violence to those who cause them. I disagree with you that my fate is to travel with you. Perhaps that was true at one time, but as has been indicated to me repeatedly throughout our travels, fate can be changed and moved in different directions, and sometimes the chaos of an action you caused before can change everything that comes after it. I made a decision.
At least give you a null.
No, he didn't.
Oh.
I was hoping that Cade would offer to come along, but I haven't seen him.
I would figure that Cade would still be here. Yeah.
All right, I turn around and Cade's there, and I just one small tear that I pretend isn't there, and I expect everyone else to uphold this, or my manliness will be questioned, and I have to beat them to death. Damn it, Pathfinder! Stop putting things in chat. You're making everything worse. Holy shit. I put a hand on Cade's shoulder and bring him in so that he's on my right side. And I look at Horatio on my left. And I look at Adrian and I say, I have everything I need right here to beat fate to death in the same way that I always have. Will you give me a shuttle, or are you going to stand in my way? Because these people live on this planet, and I'm pretty sure stopping a passported individual from returning to their land of birth is a serious crime in the Imperium. I'm with them.
Then get on board.
All right. Nero gets on board.
As Nero turns to leave, Horatio looks back at Adrian with his dead black eyes as he disappears into the shadows.
And then in Frog, the subtitles down the bottom is "Tonight, you, yeah."
No, the frog is coming with me. Frog is coming with me. It's my shoulder frog now.
Yeah.
Get that heretical shit off my planet, off my ship, right?
Essentially, before we leave, Pierre's going to send down a bunch of ammo that we have stashed for Nero specifically.
It's just the rest of his organ grinder rounds.
It's like all of his organ grinder rounds, all of his other cases
regular
of ammo.
heavy bolter rounds.
Yeah. His Stormtrooper carapace and a set of the regular power armor.
Oh, really? Thank you.
And then the heavy power armor, because I don't think anybody else is going to use it.
Are you going to leave him the las gun as well, or?
Yeah. The las cannon?
Yeah.
No one else is going to use it.
And you got to reduce your power factor by 4 as well, because that's what Nero's Barony brings to the group.
Oh, no. Nero will continue to pass.
Because I didn't have hard bargain when you first made the deal. Because he only upped it by 1.
Well, don't worry. My next character...
Next character will bring in more money.
Or is he?
I was considering making a Senate show.
I think it was 4. I think it was 2 for the Barony originally, plus 1 more for the boost you go, plus the extra for the hard bargain.
All right, so we're down
that's
to
interesting. I wonder what the new character will be. Will he also come in guns a-blazing?
No, it's not going to be a gun person. Sorry, what's the new profit factor?
We bring it down to 43. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'll talk to James.
Essentially, he's
after
giving
this.
you back all the shit that you had him ordered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that being said, though, I mean, like you've got the details that when you go and take control of the spaceport, that's worth 5 profit factor there. So bring it back up to 48.
Yeah, go to footfall. Yeah.
No, footfall.
No,
that's
trench.
Oh,
trench.
okay.
Yeah. Plus, you've got what's waiting for you in footfall. Yeah.
Right. Which someday we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
If stuff doesn't keep happening here, that we keep getting. Hey, we got this thing on the other side of Calixis sector you need to go to. Okay.
So are you gonna have that conversation with Dawn based on what Miriam said?
Sure. Yeah. Essentially, she just have Dawn come to his quarters.
Okay.
All right, so I'll show up. You know, I've cleaned myself definitely since the battle, so I'm not walking around in like fucking demon ichor or whatever.
Yeah, stained demon sticker or ichor stained armor and robes and stuff.
Mutant blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon my dry cleaning would be fucking insane. By the way,
Yeah.
it's all white robes, right? Like, so, like
I imagine you have several other pairs just for this situation.
yeah.
No, in true Imperial fashion, it's just once you've worn robes in battle, they just get burned and just a whole new set.
Dawn, have a seat.
I'll sit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in light of everything that's happened here, Miriam's come to me with a bit of insight. As pretty much we all know here that you're undoubtedly a living saint. Though the issue is the ecclesiarchy may not officially see you as one until you die.
This is how you see me? Is this how it is?
I figured you'd had other things you'd want to do as a living saint. That I usually get the feeling that you don't usually want to talk to me, so I figured I'd just keep this brief as possible for you.
I mean, there is a lot of things that coming into your employ, Lord Captain, has been a blessing and also been a problematic thing for me. I've found a side of myself that I didn't know existed, as you probably are well aware.
Are we talking about the massive bloodlust or the living saint part?
Or the gambling.
Or the gambling, I suppose. You are
Well,
really good at that. That's
the gambling was the monastery.
Yeah, it's like, well, mostly the massive blood loss, I guess you could call it. But I simply thought that you have had no real inclination for ecclesiarchy matters, so I'm simply here at your beck and call rather than the opposite.
I didn't really have a lot of matters to do with the ecclesiarchy up until you.
I know.
So
I know. And after I joined, it was still predominantly the same, but I am here to serve as always. If you want a companion to speak to more regularly, I can easily change myself to be that, Lord Captain. Is that what you wish to talk about today?
No, as more of the, as I was saying, I wasn't dealing with ecclesiarchal stuff until you came here, and then especially now it seems like I'm going to not have a choice to avoid them as much as I could, considering of what would happen. As word of us getting through this storm will go out and things will be discussed.
Well, I mean, you certainly haven't made it. You haven't kept it a secret, I would say.
No. Though I don't know how well I've been able to keep it a secret in the first place, especially after 1 million people going to leave here soon.
I'm honestly very surprised that the people outside of the handful that saw what needed to be seen spoke so fervently. Are you aware of the collection appearing outside of my personal quarters?
Yes, that's what I mean. Eventually, word's going to get out, and people are going to know. So I'm going to give you an option here. If you wish to maybe proceed with this living saint thing you have going on, Miriam has brought to my attention that there could be a way for you to get officially recognized, if you wish, by the ecclesiarchy. If we go to a statue which is said to be I wouldn't say possessed, but having a living saint inside it. I don't really recall how she put it.
James, just real quickly. What is the general ethos for people coming into the ecclesiarchy? Are a lot of them hungry to climb the ladder for status and recognition? Like, what is the general sort of?
I mean, consider like any church. Yet there are certainly people that want to climb the ladder and become the cardinal or whatever. There are people that enter the church because they truly believe that in the altruism of that action. It's individuals and people that are involved in it. You certainly have heard about, you've been educated about the lives of living saints, and you can certainly confirm that. In every case, once someone's believed they may be a living saint, they've usually visited the tomb of another living saint to try and seek guidance, and that's usually been like quite a turning point in their lives as they've sort of they've whatever they've seen or heard or in that solo prayer surrounded by the bones of another living saint has been a pivotal moment for them in their lives. At least that's what the stories claim.
Okay, and my birthright was a noble that was given up. Like I was like the third or fourth child,
that's right,
or something like that.
And
I was given to the church. So what is? Do I have any ties to my family at all? Like, do I have any obligation to climb the ranks per se?
I mean, you're obligated not to involve yourself with your family to a degree. Like it's sort of, the church is your family now. So
right, okay, so all right, yeah, okay. So at the Lord Captain saying that, I'll basically think for a moment. Maybe I'll take a sip of tea or whatever, just to cover that. But she'll reply, my only want is to understand why the God Emperor has chosen me to be one of his vessels or hands. If this can help you in any way, Lord Captain, this is something that I see being beneficial for you as well. I'm sure you can find a way to profit from such things. It is within your nature to do so.
Yes, obviously. I have a lot to gain for you going through this, but this is something I'm asking you if you want to go through yourself. I'm trying to be
every single millimeter that I cover that puts me closer to the God Emperor, I'm willing to do it.
So is that a yes?
Yes. I will, without a doubt, go through whatever trial that is necessary in order to put me closer to the God Emperor. Okay. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Very well.
However, can we make it some sort of ship order to
personal space? Is that what you're wanting?
Personal space would be fantastic, and any sort of offering can just go to the chapel. However, Lord Captain, I do have a personal request. This whole matter with the Church of the Cleansing Flame, I don't know how to put this. I have given it a lot of thought, and I did have a couple of people offer their own insightful opinions on the matter that you presented. I would like to know the truth of the matter, personally. And if what the evidence you've brought forward suggests is true, then I need to know whether or not the actions of this order, what they have taught me, the ways that I have been taught to deal with heretics and other non-believers is in fact lining up with the God Emperor's wishes. Perhaps maybe I can find this in this endeavor that you have asked me to go on, but if they are heretics, I would also like to honestly just purge them myself without hesitation.
James, where was Don's chapel? Exactly?
Iacanthos.
Iacanthos.
Yeah.
Let me search through this map and see if I can find Iacanthos.
Should be. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, so it's kind of on the way to Scintilla. Kind of.
It's actually it isn't it the third leg of this
Yeah.
trade route?
Yeah. So effectively there is a so Scintilla, Severus Secundus, Iacanthos are like that triangle is the most traveled trade route in the sector.
I don't see a problem with this. It can be, I don't know if it would be a relatively short stop, but I think we want to go to Scintilla first to get whatever supplies we may need for such an endeavor.
I see. Well, how big is the order there, James? Do I have an idea?
Which one? At Iacanthos or at Playa Seth?
Iacanthos.
Iacanthos, so there's 3 orders there. Total, it's probably about 60 sisters between the 3 of them.
I see. Okay.
So it Iacanthos is the one that said that the people were corrupt, or was it Piety of Seth?
No, that's Iacanthos is where Dawn's order, the Order of the Cleansing Flame is.
Okay. Yeah. I think with 300 Lehman Russ, we should be well equipped. Actually.
So what you know, by the way, Dave, about Piety of Seth, the planet Piety of Seth. Piety of Seth was originally an agri-world that had a cult form up on it that revered Drusus, the saint of Calixis, above the emperor. So they became like a prescribed heretical cult because they believed Drusus was better than the emperor. And at the time, they were put down by a member. So there was an Arbites precinct on the planet. So Arbites is like the Judge Dredd-like characters, and a judge by the name of Seth led the Arbites against the what were called the Chantry, the cult that revered Drusus above all others. And in the end, he defeated them, but he died. He was the last arbitrator to die, and he died on the steps of the cathedral, having finally defeated the cult. So he was sainted posthumously. Like he wasn't a living saint. He was just an arbitrator who was sainted after his death. And they renamed the planet to the Piety of Seth, and it became a shrine world to the various imperial saints. But specifically, obviously there's one towards him. There's one towards Saint Helena. It's just a number of different shrines on this world now, venerating imperial saints and other key figures. And there are 3 sororitas orders there. No militant sisters, just one order of Dialogus, one order Familis, one order Hospitaller.
Okay. So, just as a player character, as a player, I think the order in which this sort of like personal story should go is Dawn should get recognized, and then she should come back to the cleansing order with like a cleansing flame, with like a wrathful vengeance.
Righteous anger. Yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. That's how I imagine it going, but however that works.
You want to go speak with the Emperor first, then go purge.
Yes,
It would make
absolutely.
thematic sense to get that guidance first.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can follow this. Okay. I'll put business brain out of the way first.
So, I guess, we awkwardly finish a tea. And then maybe I go through the whole process of like trying to engage you in more interesting conversation other than just like yes, no, and yes, we are Battle Sisters are capable of doing this. You should do it. Like, other than because I do feel like Dawn would have taken to heart your criticism of not engaging in conversation and attempt to do so. Yeah. It's just like, so, what news, Lord Captain of things? Anything interesting happened lately that I am not aware of? Which I imagine is a lot.
Oh, that you're not aware of? That's a little bit more difficult then. You're pretty much there everywhere. I don't know if you heard, Nero is leaving us.
Oh. Well, I'm sure I do not feel too sad about this, Lord Captain. However, I will say that his abilities will be missed. Personally, I did not understand the man, and I believe him to be arrogant and pompous and very close to heretical with his worship of a frog.
I don't necessarily know if he worshipped the frog. He was definitely strangely friends with it.
He was asking it for opinions and other things and guidance. As far as I'm concerned, that is very close.
I can see where you're getting at in that case a little bit. I don't think he's full on what you say, but I can see where you're getting at now. Yes. Well, I am leaving him with pretty much all his stuff that I had specifically gotten for him that he specifically asked for, and probably enough weaponry to fight a dozen armies.
He was very material driven. I will say that much. I have not seen a man
things to do what he needed to do, and he did it. So I didn't mind too much of it.
Well, yes, she'll take another sip of the drink.
Right. Okay.
You really want to get that arm, huh, James?
Well, I'm sure if he continues to be as blessed as he was in my vicinity, then the God Emperor will hopefully protect him, because I am not sure how much longer he can last without divine ministration. He seems to be a man that is capable of sustaining several attacks wantingly. It seems he almost looked for it.
Well, we'll just have to keep checking back with him to see how things are going from there. Who knows? He may be perfectly fine. He may lose his left arm instead of his right that we keep thinking he's going to lose. It's hard to say.
Still ambidextrous, guys. Doesn't matter which arm he loses.
Hey,
But there's a slight twinge in the arm, just like a little.
But just because he's getting close to his 30s.
That's the God Emperor right there. I feel him.
It was the right arm in his dream. Then dreams always come from the right side of the brain, so maybe that was reversed. So, with the ship ready to leave, to head to the Piety of Seth, I think that's probably a little bit to unpack after the session. So I feel like, why don't we leave it there? And we can have a quick conversation about a couple of things before we move on to doing outros, if everyone's okay, unless anybody else wants a scene.
Good.
I would like one final scene. It's very short.
Yep.
It's Adrian going to Don's door, and with a little like brass Aquila candle holder, lighting a candle there.
I like the idea that like you see some of the other ones and you just sort of like push it a little bit out of the way to get closer to the door, and you put yours right there. It's like, yeah.
I like the idea that
Perfect.
Dawn opens the door at the same time, and you're like not sure whether you should keep lighting the candle or not.
Leaning down to light it. Hey.
So can I just say, so the big news where I live this week is that the state premier, so I like to think about the state governor for a US term, resigned because she's being investigated by the government anti-corruption watchdog for the fact that she was in a relationship 5 years ago with another member of parliament secretly, and she's being accused of having funneled public funds towards his personal projects, as outright corruption. So what happened was this week they said, yes, she has a case to answer for. That case will begin trial this week, and she's come out now and said, I'm stepping down. There are a lot of people that don't care about politics that had an opinion about her, because during COVID she was on TV every day giving the latest numbers, talking about what the changes to restrictions will be and when we can come out of lockdown, etc. And what's happened now is in the days since she resigned is every day people are rocking up to her house and leaving little votive shrines in front of her house, offering support, because, as I said, for most people that don't care about politics, all she was a person that kept them informed every day on what's happening about COVID. They don't know anything about corruption watchdogs or, under the table payments, but they're leaving little sort of, thoughts and prayers in front of our house every day. That's where I sort of got the idea from.
James, I want to ask you what it's like to live in a country where politicians still have the requisite amount of shame to step down when they're caught in the middle of a massive scandal, because I haven't lived there for like 10 years. So
well, that's not entirely true. The two federal bank reserve presidents that are under investigation have stepped down. Will they be punished?
Look, hey, just so you know, Arthur, this week Ron DeSantis criticised Australia. So we,
I'll let that one just pass.
That's it. For our Gestapo state making people stay indoors, not get sick.
Jesus.
You know that guy is the leader for Republican presidential candidate. He passed Trump.
Is he really?
Yeah.
God help us. Oh my God. James, you got a guest room?
You got a couple of guest houses?
Yeah.
We just moved the whole guest.
You want to add like a...
We're going to airlift Henley back home.
The leading candidate to replace our resigned state premier is a ultra right-wing conservative Christian, very much says, I let my faith guide my politics. He is the third child of 12 with 6 of his own children. It's like, so.
I get enough of that over here. I think I'll.
I was gonna say, if you've ever seen Operation Dumbo Drop, we need to get Henley and then drop him and all of us in Australia.
Yep. But the good news is, international travel I can leave Australia again from the start of November. Okay. So I'm definitely coming over to the US next year in April.
Whoa, James, for your best interests. I don't know if that's a good idea. Whoa, buddy, calm down. Can't you go somewhere safe, like, I don't know, New Zealand?
No,
Iceland?
They won't let anyone in.
Yeah, it's 'cause they got good ideas over there.
Oh man.
So what are we going to do, Arthur? Can you give anybody any sort of insights?
All right.
Like I first of all, I don't feel we've heard the last of Nero. I feel that Nero's tie-in is enough that there may I'll talk to you about it offline, Arthur, but I think there might be an opportunity.
Oh, you want to have like a portal scene at the final fight right. Where Nero shows up?
Yeah, Pierre's just there, like beating about, and suddenly, on your left.
Just followed by a hail of bolter shells.
I was gonna say it's not gonna be someone walking through. It's just gonna be a line of shells.
It's just
I think it's more of this line of bolter shells and him trying to yell out, "On your left!"
I also like the idea that at the end of every episode we have a 2-minute segment which is just a dice roll of
what's going on with
Nero
Nero?
dead yet?
what happened to Nero this week?
Well, that happens with my Pendragon game now because one of the players has retired their first night. He's not dead, but they'd already played that night's child. But we're still rolling every year to see if he dies. So,
Yeah.
All right, chat, calm down now. Calm down. I knew if we talked about politics, it would get like this. Save it for your house. We don't need it here. I made a mistake in opening this door. We're shutting the door now. We got enough. Nero was originally going to be a Tau Fire Warrior, but Atomic was like, no aliens. So I was like, all right, well, in the interest of doing things for the group, I'll just make an Arch-Militant. I got like a couple. What?
I thought you were gonna roll up a merchant, to be honest with you. I like the next one. I was just like, yeah, all I want to do, sell T-shirts, man. Come on, like, just give me those rolls.
Definitely afraid of guns.
Definitely afraid of guns.
So, I mean, I was thinking of a couple character options. Chat has already guessed several of them. I am interested in maybe doing that Tau Fire Warrior now, but I already said I didn't want to do guns, so I'm thinking probably not that. Since Tau aren't exactly known about.
Farsight Enclave's Fire Warrior.
I don't know what that means.
They're the they're more
melee Tau.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Does the Rogue Trader have that
Oh,
option?
melee group.
I mean, they don't really go through the enclaves. I mean, the thing is,
Okay.
in my
You'll
personal
stand in
opinion,
front of the
Tau-
Lord Captain while he shoots.
Tau will be one of the hardest. Okay, I was that's one of the hardest. Tau feels like one of the harder races to bring into the storyline. Okay, maybe easier than say Tyranids. If we want to play Timmy the Termagon, I'd be a bit up. That wouldn't be easy.
I don't think there are character options for that. So
No. let
me walk from.
Hey, there is homebrew, Arthur. There's
All right.
homebrew everything.
I'm not interested in homebrew. Let me walk through a couple of them. A psyker, like a battle psyker, someone with like a weapon you can channel psychic power through, to just absolutely tear shit up. Like
Psycho would be pretty fun. In all honesty, yeah.
I was also thinking Seneschal, but I looked through Seneschal and they're like skill monkeys, and we already have Pierre, so I wasn't leaning too heavily into it. This last one's going to be a little out there, but I was also thinking of playing a Drukhari Witch, given where we're going, or maybe like an Incubus.
It is a cool race thing. Like they're absolutely broken as fuck, but they're
Are they?
Because
I just want to play one because our next character, like, there's like only 3 arcs left, right? Like the
that's right.
Talon, Balewing, Drukhari arc, then the Finish the Journey arc, and then the Let's All Go Die in the Place Beyond Time where you can make wishes arc.
Yeah. They got natural agility ×2.
I don't know
which
what that
is
means.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So what that means is anything which runs off your agility bonus, you double your bonus. So for like initiative, number of times you can dodge with step aside. So
Interesting.
Yeah, movement speed.
So if you went max with your agility, which you do about 75, it's at a 7, so you'd have a 14 bonus to whatever. So
Yeah, you could run faster than Dawn can fly.
Jesus Christ.
The final option I was thinking about was some sort of what are they called? Explorators?
Yeah,
Getting like a multi-armed, like uses 2 two-handed melee weapons, absolute fucking melee beast god mode, ultra instinct ass.
It would be kind of interesting to have like an entire group of people that are just focused on melee. Because literally right now it's like, Nero pops off one round, mutilates like a bunch of people, and then melee jumps in. Like that's sort of how it goes right now. And but melee is also one of those classes where it's like it does a shitload of damage, and it stops them from focusing on a lot of other things. So like it's interesting. It's an interesting dichotomy because like ranged is so stupid powerful when you build it that way, right? Like at least that's how I've seen.
So and this is kind of the way that these games kind of go is range is you could be very, very good at ranged early on in the game, but it reaches a point where it doesn't get any better. Like Nero is at that point where his ranged attacks aren't going to get any better. Like,
I don't think my melee is going to get much better either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's because the missionary is one of the few classes where melee comes online pretty early, whereas like my melee skills are about to get twice as good this next rank.
Yeah.
So basically, melee comes online much later in the ranks than range does.
But so there's a lot of, as a GM, there's a lot of freedom around saying this is the final story arc, because it means I can throw a lot of things in and not have to worry about balance past the current point, which is why I'm prepared to say, hey, here's the wreck of a battle cruiser that you can restore, for example. I'm going to be throwing some stuff at Dawn next session that is going to make your head spin. Because I want to give people that epic finale feel, which shouldn't be limited by pesky things like game balance. But go ahead, sorry.
I was like, let me pitch this to you, Arthur. One of the Eldar Exarch houses, the Dire Avengers, like and playing a Eldar.
That's not a rotator character option.
Eldar are.
Well, Drakari are. That there's no official material, which is the
Tau.
Yeah, there's plenty of, because like, okay, there's so much there's not I can't say on air as such, but yeah, there's I'll tell you guys about after we stop recording.
Sure.
Yeah, but to go back to what I was going to say to you, Arthur, was that my suggestion would be, I think that me speaking now as an audience member who also watches the show while narrating it, I think that I think a lot of other people enjoy the best part of the show is the character interplay between, how you guys interact with each other. And I think that whatever character you choose to bring in, I'd be thinking about what's going to have the most fun interacting with the group. Like the tech priest idea with 4 arms, 2 weapons sounds cool, except for when you take out the humanity and it's like, well, I'm a machine who doesn't really talk to people very much. You lose that.
I was thinking of doing that Ivy thing,
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we're sitting here talking. I'm not going to secretly unveil a character. I briefly considered doing that. I feel like for a while I've been wanting to retire Nero, if only because encounters are so disbalanced by his presence. James has to increase the difficulty so much, and it just feels like everybody else is just like, all right, I hit a guy, I do a couple things, and I'm just like, all right, I killed 12 people in the corner. Nero brings the power level up really high, and it's dangerous for everybody else. And I've been feeling that for over a season. And right at the midway, even before the break, probably for about the last week, I've been thinking with Miriam, I was like, yep, Nero's probably going to leave the crew to protect his daughter. Chad is bringing some. Well, Redley, I mean, that's my direct answer to you, is that Nero takes O's very seriously, and while he does work for Pierre, he never gave any O's beyond a mercenary oath of service. However, he does take his responsibilities as a baron extremely seriously, and that means answering to his noble superior, who's also his daughter, which gets really complicated, but so's life. So that's an in and out of character. Those reasons aligned for me around the break today, and I was like, I think it's the end of Nero. Yes, perhaps James will find some way to bring Nero back. We do know there's a Harlequin around doing some webway shit, so it's not impossible. That said, I mean, what kind of characters are you guys interested in? I know, Spoon, you were talking Eldar, but like I said, there's not really an Eldar-y book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Don? And James, let me just offset this by saying, of course, any character that I play is going to attempt to do his best to be friends with everybody. Nero did his best to be friends with Dawn, even as she rejected him over and over again. She wasn't tsundere. She actually hated him.
Yeah, I don't know what spurred that on, to be honest. I think it might have been like in the first couple episodes.
It's rough, man. It's rough.
Dawn definitely tried to be like a different character at the beginning of this game, but sure. I feel like
Nero was supposed to be a wise monkish warrior who didn't talk that much, so here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She was supposed to be almost like the mother of the group, but that never worked out at all, like ever. So, but having said that, I do think that if we had particularly like, I don't know if there's like some sort of like intelligent role that you can potentially play. Not so much like a kind of almost like what Ivy does a little bit, but like, I don't know, like kind of almost like a mechanic role or something. That could potentially be quite fun to play with. Cause then you've got like, the interaction with Adrian. I'm not sure how you would tie into, like, Dawn is very difficult to fucking just build a character support for her. I don't know. That's weird. It's a weird one. You'd have to almost be in the ecclesiarchy for that to fucking work, right? Like, so yeah, that's a tough one.
Let me throw this out there. This is like, because this was just when you talked about playing a psyker, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I had a plan for a, and this is a question for James. Would you allow psychic powers from Dark Heresy, like the Dark Heresy system?
Which one are you looking at?
Biomancy, the biomancy like grouping.
Yeah, it would have to be managed properly, because the thing is, like, the way the casting system and the experience buy system is completely different between the two. Okay. So it would have to be house ruled to make them work that way.
Because I remember back when I was running my own Dark Heresy game for my home group, I had an idea for a character where it's just a psyker who basically just pumps himself up with buff spells pretty much, and does like regenerate and hammer hands, and then just beats the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question, James. Are there other books that do match the Rogue Trader style, like say Deathwatch?
So you can build a character from any of the settings. So you could build a Deathwatch character or something, and you could make it. You build it entirely using those books,
right?
And it fits in at an equivalent XP level. You just got to, because the thing is that's the way they balance it out, was to say that that's why Rogue Trader characters start at 12,000 XP, because they are higher than a Dark Heresy character who starts at 0, basically. And likewise, I think Deathwatch characters start from 40,000 XP or 30,000 XP from memory.
That's much less than what we have. So
yeah,
never mind.
Much more than what we have.
Yeah. Yeah, if you started as a Deathwatch,
we have we're gonna have like, somewhere near 25,000, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah, correct.
Yeah, and then Only War's a bit different. Only War doesn't quite translate as well, because
it's about groups of soldiers, really.
Yeah, well, also because they fundamentally changed the XP system in Black Crusade and Only War, where you no longer have ranks. It's more about putting together keywords to work out what the things cost and buying from there.
So which edition of Dark Heresy is valid? Is it 1 or 2?
1.
1 matches up.
Yeah. Deathwatch characters, start at 13,000 XP. So it must be, so I think that's right. Rogue Trader characters start at like 5,000, and Deathwatch starts at 13,000.
Nero's going to play that Space Marine.
I was thinking maybe Shrane could assign a Psyker Deathwatch agent. You know what I mean? Like a Psyker Space Marine, melee proficient.
Some sort of librarian, perhaps.
Yeah. I'm liking this part right here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to decide right now. You can think about it and decide.
I don't know, Jay. Listen, you tell me whether I could touch Deathwatch or not. Because right now, if you say yes to Deathwatch, I'll play a librarian. Listen, if not, all of the other options are on the table.
He's got to have a cybernetic arm.
No deal. I'll take something else. Back to Rogue Trader it is then.
I mean, I say other option. You can do it either as Death Watch or do it as a Silver Skull librarian as well. There's possibilities.
Hey, what's up? So look, chat was saying I could play the Dreadnought Bastivus that we accidentally didn't kill. Yes, that we didn't kill. How do you feel about that, James? Play like a 10,000-year-old Space Marine sarcophagus show up and be like, hey guys, what's up?
I'm pretty sure Dreadnought is a rank. I think it's minimum rank 4 Death Watch.
Oh shit! Yeah. We actually could do this.
Yeah, it's got the rules for death So we used to joke when because Dreadnoughts take a massive hit on their fellowship. So we tried to build the highest possible fellowship Dreadnought we could. And so we ended up making a highly gregarious Space Wolf Dreadnought.
It's just Buddy Christ the Dreadnought.
No. I've already played a no-talkie character who's also very dumb. I'm good.
I personally like the idea of bringing in a psyker.
Yep, me too.
Of any flavor, really.
I don't know anything about the psyker system, so I'm willing to get completely roasted.
Yeah, well, it's
just immediately warp heresies all over the place. Just kill the whole crew one episode.
When I played a psyker, I remember there being like rules where you could pick like what you would automatically, like you could get traits that would like allow you to pick your favorite problematic.
Favorite by the warp lets you pick a certain effect, and you can always default back to that.
Yeah, and I picked like I always take the appearance of a fucking demon or some shit. It was awesome. It was so cool, dude. It was such a neat little thing that you can do. It was quite nice to play a character that was just like, I walk around scary face all the time, like from fucking like a ghost move from Pokemon, you know. It's just it was good. It was a lot of fun. So you can definitely have a lot of fun with the bad side of a psyker as well. So yeah.
So okay, if you think about a psyker, then AP, there is probably 3 main options. Okay, so there's the Rogue Trader option, which is the Astropath.
Yep.
There is the Death Watch option, which is the Librarian, or there is the Dark Heresy option of taking any of the base classes and adding the Psyker ascension path to it. So I like a Psychic Inquisitor.
Yep.
You know,
I know.
Or that sort of, yeah.
Yep. Done some Dark Heresy in my time. You may not know this, but I once GM'd for a man named Prendar Creed.
Didn't do anything.
Who's that?
It's Pondo's character. He shot a random NPC who was, in fact, the person behind the entire heretical plot. He literally
The only reason why I shot him was because he called me he was going to shout out that I was a heretic.
He called
That's a good reason to shoot
heretic.
someone.
Were you a heretic?
No, but he shot the heretic.
I did shoot the heretic.
You know what they say about
The
people
entire
who call
night
other
I
people
failed
heretics.
every roll except for that one. That's because I did full auto and just kept shooting.
You know, that's just that's how you deal with heretics in the Warhammer 40K universe.
It was a night of a lot of failed rolls. And yeah.
I tend to feel that's how most, you know, first few sessions of Dark Heresy go. It's a lot of bumbling and stumbling and failing your way through your problems.
Yeah. You that's the thing with Dark Heresy is that you take whatever skill your character is most good at, and they only fail that most of the time.
Yeah.
Everything else they fail all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had agility and awareness, and I kept failing awareness. And so I had ballistic skill and awareness.
Right.
And the only roll I made was ballistic skill. Because I had like an auto pistol or something.
Sid managed to break the elevator.
Yeah.
I love
his face.
The Dark Heresy starter, like camp starter, like scenario has you fighting a demon. in it. And it's like, how the hell are they supposed to succeed?
All right, let's do outros.
Sure. We'll start with you, James.
I'm Grimdark James. You can find me back here later on this week, in fact, for Dawn Agreement. So will there be a delay before it goes up after you record? After one day? Okay, so yeah, we'll be later on this week for Dawn Agreement. Yep. Yeah, very, very excited for that, and giving. That's why somebody asked you in the Fractal channel, you know, something else like Fractal, and you're like, no, not really. I'm like, isn't Dawn Agreement?
Yeah, like that's what I thought as well.
I was going to say, hey, such and such, maybe you should check out this.
No. I mean, they were I felt like they were specifically asking. It was prefaced by saying, like, are you going to run the same thing over and over again?
Okay, no worries.
That's my understanding.
Because they did say preferably with the same cast, which means they liked at least one of us. So then obviously again on Saturday for some more Rogue Trader. I had a good time though. I wrote so much more tonight than we got through. I think that
I decided to shit things up for you, James. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, I think. Let me see. I wrote.
You agree with that? You're like, yeah, you did.
I wrote 8 scenes. We got through 2. Okay, which means that my planning for next session is already done.
Yeah, you're already done. Yep.
Yeah,
you're good to go.
Next session is going to be pretty heavy Dawn focus as well, though. So, good time though. Looking forward to some more. Getting some of the juicier parts of the storyline out now as well. I did consider it like a post-credit scene with the showing how the bad guys reacted to Nero's decision, but I might.
No, do it.
I want to write it properly. I'll do it as a pre-credit scene next time.
There you go.
Yeah. Pre-credit scene.
Well, like before the camera cuts to the heroes. It's like the immediate rate.
The establishing shot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're a monster.
Yeah. Otherwise, check me out on Arthur's Discord, where I hang around and post odd stories about role playing.
Pre-credit scene. So there's a pile of bodies in front of Nero.
Yeah, and just
what looks like bodies.
Smoking barrel of a heavy bolter.
The Post Malone Rockstar video clip is playing right now, basically, except instead of Post Malone, it's Nero. Right.
I'm going to say, speaking of video clips, after I went my Curse of Strahd game this week, one of my friends sent me a video clip, which he said this is how the game felt, and it was a band I wasn't familiar with called Eskimo Callboy.
Yep.
Anyone know this band? Okay.
Yep.
So they are.
Are you talking about the new song? Yeah.
We've got the moves. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So I quite enjoyed the song, and so I thought I'd look up where they're from. They had a very European vibe to them, and they are a German electro-industrial band.
Basically, it's if baby metal is like cute Japanese girls in metal, this is like dad metal. This is like dads doing metal, basically, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get the vibe. Yeah.
But yeah, what I found was interesting is when you look on Wikipedia about bands, they'll say like, vocalist blah, guitar blah, bass blah. 2 of their members listed as clean vocals and unclean vocals.
Yeah.
So
that's metal for you.
That's metal. There you go. So I digress. Check it out, Eskimo Callboy. We got the moves. I enjoyed it. You might enjoy it too.
Yeah. Also, that's
you like headbanging? It's good for you.
That video clip in particular reminded me of Cyberpunk 2020 for MASH and others. So
yeah, not safe for work. The video clip.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean.
You mean you can watch the making of video where they say we got this tree because it looks like a penis.
Okay. Apparently they're not called. Is this real? They're called chaplains instead of librarians.
No, chaplains and librarians are different.
Chaplains are what's happening.
Chaplains are not psychers.
Yeah, they're like commissars for Marines.
I'm having trouble finding.
I never thought to put that.
Librarians in the core Deathwatch book.
Oh, I must be. I'm reading Rites of Battle, I guess.
No, Rites of Battle is the Into the Storm for Deathwatch,
and that lets you. I think Rites of Battle you can create your own chapter, or something like that.
Oh, so it's like bonus options? Okay.
Yeah, it's like what Into the Storm is. Yeah, the first book of every game series was more character options. So for Dark Heresy, it was Inquisitor's Handbook. For Rogue Trades, Into the Storm, etc., etc. But yeah, page 80 of Deathwatch core book is Deathwatch.
Should I be looking through here for anything interesting, or
yeah, there's lots of interesting stuff.
Like some relics, huh?
I don't know why Arthur would ever make his own chapter when he could just play an Ultramarine.
Listen, I'm obviously going to play a fucking Ultramarine. Aren't the Silver Skulls Ultramarine successors?
That's officially.
Officially, yeah. I mean, in your canon, no, but yeah. If their
fucking symbol is the same symbol as the Iron Warriors.
Okay. Look,
and they have the exact same doctrine.
I'm not going to argue with James. What I'm going to say is, obviously, I'm going to play an Ultramarine. Robot Gully Man may not be alive again yet, but the spirit of shooting a lot of people a lot is still alive.
That's it. That's what the Codex is.
You know, speaking of someone who follows the Codex, let's hop it over to Big Spoon.
I do. The Codex Astartes approves of this action. I'm Big Spoon. You can find me on Twitter at BigSpoon223 or over on Arthur's Discord. I'm here on Saturday nights to play this Rogue Trader game. I'm also going to be on Dawn Agreement, although I don't think my episode is going to be for another couple weeks. I am on Solaris Nights coming up this week, though. Sometime.
Gonna roast Hunter McGregor.
Oh man, it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna let him have it. So
right out of just using your very human non-cybernetic right arm, you're just gonna let him have it.
Right after winning stable champion, everything's going good for Hunter McGregor, except for the fact that he can't win a damn match.
It's an RKO out of nowhere.
So
there was a brief period, Spoon, where I was on 3 of Arthur's shows every week for a few weeks when before Time of War had finished, when we were still doing Wrath and Glory, and when I'd first joined Cyberpunk. Or no, it wasn't Wrath and Glory. It was this game had already started, yeah. But so it's interesting times having. Look, I like Arthur a lot. But there is such thing as too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Well, so I
imagine being able to walk away from me. You guys get that option. Oh shit, Jesus! What must that be like?
The kind of scheduling setup we use for these shows is very flexible. So I like. That's very nice.
It's going to collapse the instant that Amore has to go to the vet, and I'm out. I'm out for 3 days, and then people are going to make, "Where's my Solaris Nights episode? There hasn't been one for a whole 4 days. I'll die." That's you, Spoon. That's my impression of you.
That is me. Yeah, because I'm always like, I want more BattleTech content, man.
Sometimes people are like, "Yeah, I really like those ads in the first season," and I was just like, "Yeah, well, you get 3 episodes a week instead of getting an ad."
Yep. Yeah, nobody else is making the good BattleTech RPG content. There's a lot of well,
if only everyone else that watched BattleTech RPG content was only watching my show. Look, man, fair. I took some fucking stances in today's episode. You'll see tomorrow.
Yeah,
you'll know when you get to Leonidas.
Arthur, I've got an idea for how you can get more people to watch your BattleTech shows. Reach out to the guy that does the Steiner Assault Lance, the Steiner Scout Lance videos, and get him to cross promote you. If you can get him to cross promote you, you'll pick up a bunch of people.
Steiner Assault Lance. All right, I don't know.
It's the Steiner Scout Lance. Sorry,
Steiner Scout Lance videos.
Yep.
You're not familiar with
that? Not Tex?
Is it Tex?
No, it's not Tex that does it. He puts them in some of Tex's videos, but I don't think it's like
okay.
Like it's he's his own thing, I think.
Yeah, meandering being. No, so Black Pants Legion. Black Pants Legion's a channel.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Black Pants Legion was Tex.
Yeah, that's Tex's. That's Tex's apparatus. Like.
Okay, no worries.
We'll see. Why don't you do your outro?
I mean, that's bad.
Oh, okay. Why don't we jump to you instead of
I am Ponder upon the Mad. You can find me here Saturday nights, obviously here with Rogue Tech. Rogue Trader. Rogue Tech's completely different.
Look, we could just have a Rogue Tech night. You know, I'll do some Jihad Tech. I'll just be like, all right, 4 Mane Domini Septimuses show up. You die.
I need to say that I just received a sign. I got an email here saying Librarian Terminators back in stock at Games Workshop.
There you go. The God Emperor wants you to play a librarian.
And that was for my Death Watch Army.
What was that?
It's like rolling a 10 and then rolling a second 10. Go ahead, Panda.
Find me here Saturday nights here at Rogue Trader. You can find me at Dawn Agreement. My first episode is the 14th still.
Airs the next day.
Huh?
Airs the next day.
Yeah, so. And you can also find me with Ranch Simulator. I'm still working on the 3rd episode. We'll be recording this 4th one soon.
Work harder.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not going to drop it until I feel like I'm ready for it. I can just stay up for 5 hours playing Timberborn and get 5 Timberborn 1-hour videos so that Spoon can try to roast me and be like, you killed your beavers.
I don't know what the serious demand for Ranch Simulator is.
Some people like it.
Yeah.
James said he liked it.
Yeah, Logan's right here.
Yeah. Let me take a look at the YouTube analytics. I haven't looked at my analytics since I went on vacation, so who the fuck knows what's happening on my channel? Not me. Not this guy. Take a look here. How is Ranch Simulator doing, huh? Not well.
Oh no, we still gotta set up that rematch.
Has it performed better than Blackberry Honey?
I'm gonna just go ahead and say almost certainly not. But I'm gonna go and
one of those shows got cancelled.
I mean, if you want to go by that logic, you need to reach Oath of Endosteel level before I give a shit. Which one do you want more, James? Ranch Simulator or Blackberry Honey? You gotta make a choice. Don't you know you're in charge of choosing all of my content now? Oh fuck, YouTube crashed it. Just finish here.
I think that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, great. You know, speaking of Blackberry Honey, let's talk to another adult video game creator. My friend Dave Traeger, who I respect a lot, even if he thinks that I constantly mock him for his adult video game appeal. James, sorry, Dave, if there's one thing you need to recognize, mixing up James and Dave is such a thing this week, huh? Yeah. If there's one thing you need to know, it's that I will mock literally anyone for maybe 1 laugh from the audience. 2 if I'm lucky. And I don't mean like an LOL in chat. I mean like 1 pathetic, like, that was kind of good at home that I'll never hear about.
I mock people for the approval of my internal monologue. You know, I don't even care about the audience sometimes.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine having a positive internal monologue? What is that like, James? Holy shit. Anyway, my guy Henley, who I respect a lot. What do you got going on for your outro?
Hey everyone. So yeah, like the consensus of this cast and GM, I am also in Dawn Agreement. I think mine was supposed to be the first one by the sounds of it going up. I don't know, but like
no,
I had a schedule. Was that sorry?
Lawson was first.
Okay, yeah. But I have a scheduling conflict this week that has just come up. You know, being a foreigner in a foreign country, there are some growing pains when it comes to paperwork. So I need to bend over backwards, apparently, to get a fucking driver's license in this country. So, you know, yay. So that's what I'll be doing instead of playing. But
look,
yeah,
Dave,
I mean,
don't you already know? If I put you first, we're gonna have to do the evil camp. It's just like Fractal.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna watch the rest of the show and be like, that was nothing like the first episode.
None of the rest of them were bandits at all.
Yeah. So, as Arthur blatantly put it, I'm actually playing an evil character in Dawn
That's
Agreement,
questionable.
which will be well. I mean, my alliance on the chart of 9 is on evil for sure.
Listen,
And I do have pieties that I follow that are in fact evil and some other things like that. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting character to play. I'm quite excited. If you can take a look at the character art, I guess maybe you might be able to guess who I'm playing. Possibly. Yeah, you might be able to, but I don't know. I mean, I think that'll be a really fun game. I'm really interested to see how it all comes together. To be honest with you, it's going to be one of those weird games where like I won't be able to know what the other players are doing, and I'm not sure how much we're going to talk. Like I've never really been in a campaign like that before, so.
I mean, it's really shocking, but you could actually just watch their shows, which would be available on.
No. That's I will, but I'm not sure how much of that will like, because when we're playing together, I can always just ask someone like what their intentions are or anything like that, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this all comes together.
I know this guy that can answer that question for you. He's currently a cast member on Solaris Knights. Big Spoon. What can you tell Dave about his concerns and all of the roasting that goes on in Solaris Knights?
Yeah. So, I mean, watching the episodes is helpful, but I understand that not everyone has the time to do that. So I would just say being active in the group chat and being like, hey, this happened in my episode, or like, what, because like Glimo doesn't have the time to watch everybody's episodes either. And so he'll occasionally be like, hey, hit me with the highlights, basically.
I mean, most people post about things, or they cryptically allude to something that happens in their match and be like, oh boy, you guys should watch tomorrow when Saya X, Y, and Z's. She just Z'd all over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is going to be a little bit more interesting because we have some MacGuffins, we have some tools available. And I'm really quite interested to see like just how cooperative everyone is, because we definitely have some water and oil kind of characters. I think.
Oh, for sure.
We have some yin and yangs definitely. So it'll be quite an interesting experience, I will say. So.
I think most of the cases we're all going into our separate kind of storylines.
Yeah.
Anyway, so from what I understand, there's not going to be a whole lot of overlap.
No, that's wrong. There will be some overlap.
Yeah.
I'm designing it Octopath Traveler style, which is where there's relevance between the stories.
Okay. I know my story amongst everybody else is going to be more sandboxy, not as much like conflict.
Well,
combat.
I mean, so is James's.
Oh, okay.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Pondo. James is going to have some very interesting things he hears about you.
Okay.
Mine's definitely just going to be beat for beat Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. So, like...
I prefer the start of 2, where you're just like inside of a fish monster stabbing to death. Someone nearby goes, no one told him it's just as hard on the inside?
Yeah.
So I had a meeting the other day with Arthur about this game, and I was like, so I just worked out that I have a swim speed and I can hold my breath for 15 minutes. And Arthur was like, yes, that is interesting. And I was like, yes, I think I will take the water campaign, please.
The lizard men taking the water campaign?
I'm going to go here and say, with the possible exception of Tiffany, I think I have the least system knowledge of 5th Ed out of this whole group. And so right. So I would encourage people to point out my mistakes as I point out Arthur's mistakes on his shows, because I expect to make quite a few. Have you noticed, actually, that's the problem with me being caught up on Solaris Knights. I'm pointing all the errors out now on the YouTube comments.
What?
Yeah.
Have you been posting errors on the YouTube comments?
Yeah, last couple episodes, yeah.
I've actually...
That the race with J Falcon annoyed the fuck out of me.
So I don't know how it is with the other characters, but I've definitely taken upon myself to go like.
Are you serious, James? I haven't seen anything from you in weeks.
Okay, no, that was earlier this week. I posted on the Sire one and on might have been.
Oh my god! Everything you've posted has been held for review by auto admin. I don't get informed when that happens. I have to manually go and look at it.
There you go.
Yeah, so I don't know about the other characters, but I've definitely gone because I feel like I'm a little bit of I'm reaching veteran status of like 5th edition as far as like rule understanding goes. So I've taken it upon myself to play a very complicated character in terms of rules and stuff. So I feel like as long as you stick in one character class and you just sort of go down the road, you're not going to have any problems with 5th edition. Like there's literally 0 growing pains you could have.
I mean, we're not going to be playing long enough for that to matter. I think he's more worried about like basic action economy and such.
I mean,
okay.
We had this. Like, I've run 3 games of 5th Ed with my 2 groups recently, and it's only after 3 games I realised that the 5-foot step was no longer a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but I get attack of opportunity. No.
Just know that flanking is an optional rule that we will be using.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. Normally, I don't allow flanking.
Yeah, but and the reason he does now is because it's a solo game, so anyone flanking his characters.
I've been very clear, especially with Spoon. Recruiting other people to join you is probably in a solo game is probably a really, really good idea.
Or kill them and then bring them back. Right? You know, like
I very much considered taking a feat instead of attribute points to get knowing a ritual spell and taking Find Familiar just to have the added companionship of a familiar.
I see you've watched Fractal.
What, like three people had familiars in Fractal, I think?
I like familiars. They're great.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah. Yeah, but no, I think that that game is going to do quite well. It's going to be quite fun, and I'm really excited to see it. But if you want to go check out
Observant Feet and tell Arthur's, all right, tell me what they say.
Tell me. Hey, or take what is it where you're like
feet.
I have an eidetic memory. Like
I
always know what time it is.
Yeah,
like,
okay. Calm down, Liam O'Brien.
Yeah.
You can recall anything you've seen or heard in the last month?
Yeah.
The one character that I was going to make in this game, but then Arthur showed me all the new races, and I was like, I have to do this now. Before that, it was literally okay.
You were a month too late. The new book came out with fairies as a player character race now.
I was not going to include those.
They've
anyway,
also
like
the set ability score improvements. They're just like, all right, just put them where you want them.
I was literally gonna make a cavalry like mounted person, and I was just gonna be like, yeah, my feat is I took into wizard, and then I got like find steed, and then I just fucking took all of the cavalry feats I could take, and then I just rolled with it. That's what I was gonna do, but like, no.
Now you can assemble your own steed out of the bones of fish.
I once made the mistake of allowing a player inserted to play a pixie paladin riding a ferret.
Wow.
That sucks. I can't even like.
Drow matriarch dual wielding lances riding a unicorn that also has a lance for its horn.
And has arms for lances. Yeah.
What the fuck? No. What is with the arms here tonight? All right, that's it. When the stream ends, it's the last we'll ever hear of Nero. Goodbye. You've served us all.
Incorrect.
What?
We'll hear more about Nero.
He won't answer the call.
There was going to be a walking
He's a
off into the sunset
stay-at-home dad now. He's got that retirement money. He doesn't get
that choice.
He's been allured by the life of riches and wealth that has been offered to him.
He's taking his Crocs out of high speed mode.
I don't need to move Nero. I just need to move his daughter, and he will follow.
Final episode, Nero shows up in a bathrobe and goes, "Where's my daughter, guys?" No guns or anything.
That's the after campaign stinger.
You've gone into complete dad mode and you look like Daniel Radcliffe with guns tied to your hands and you're like,
oh man.
I haven't fired a gun for 2 weeks. I don't know how to use them anymore. How do we do this? I haven't been mean to anyone in a month. That's it. The stream is ending now. Go back to your time zone and have a good one.